All right, all right, all right. We are live on the tuber, on the YouTuber. Finally live. We got some ish from
right?
folks, it sounds like.
Just a little bit, a little friendly. Got Cookie Monster, you know, the whole tap on the desk, hand on the head gif from
I love
Ricky Shithouse Jr. I love that Twitter name.
That dude's the man. Let's see. I'm going to...
Actually, he might have sent me a question that I
did.
forgot.
I got him. Nope.
Okay,
I
cool.
got them all. He actually sent 2 questions.
Cool.
Is live.
Fashionably late, yeah,
Party.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can call us fashionable.
Well, no.
We're just late.
Somebody's going to get mad at me for wearing an 88 shirt, I guarantee.
Oh, man. That's a cool shirt. Is that new? Did you just get it? I don't know if
This
I've
is the
seen
second time I've worn it, I think.
Okay.
I
But
got
not on
it-
the show, right?
Well, as soon as they announced it, yeah. I don't know if I've worn it on the show or not. It's got it's like one of those schedule ones.
Ah.
Got the whole schedule on the back.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to support Alex Bowman because I supported the hell out of Junior.
Dover,
Did it on the show or
Delaware
not?
weather. So, Matt DiBenedetto fan going to Dover. Hopefully the rain stays away. So, I just looked. And my first reaction was, well, we're not there, so of course it's not going to rain.
Well, you know what?
it looks like
I put something up on Twitter.
Tut looks like rain.
Like
They
trying
have
to
lights.
yeah, they do. No, that's why the truck race runs at
Oh.
5 o'clock on Friday afternoon.
So that could be problematic.
Yeah, Aaron Studwell, the guy that's
Oh, yeah.
lap traffic guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that it's going to be wet, but they're not calling for a washout because it's so
what it
easy
looked
to
like.
dry.
That's what it looked like. Man, Matt DiBenedetto fan, I'm going to keep my fingers super crossed for you. What's up, Carlton? Because I know very well what it's like to have rain at the track, and so hopefully we get that in. Absolutely. Roger's up here, Jumpy Bob, Cole Yunker. All right, what's up? Chloe. I said Cole. my brain saw the right thing, and my mouth said the wrong thing.
The wrong thing.
Yeah.
That sounds about normal.
Right? That happens a lot. Oh, man. Yeah, CJ's going to be on here in a little bit. Until then, we're just going to kind of freestyle for a minute and then get her going. With that, we're kind of late, Sherwin. We got some folks waiting, so y'all ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. With that, that means I need to remember all the things I have to do to start a show.
You have to turn knobs and mash
Yeah,
buttons.
turn knobs and mash buttons is about it. Let's do a quick sound check. Check. Rusty.
Checkity, check.
All right, that's good. I had turned yours all the way down. Oh, I know, because I had a I use the same setup for talking. This is my home office, so if I'm working from home, I'm doing the same thing. They all make fun of me for the mic, but I always turn yours all the way down so it doesn't. So if the cat jumps up there, they don't.
Oh yeah, they don't hear.
They don't hear
a
the
whole
cat
bunch of
going crazy.
random
Yeah,
background
random noise. Yep.
crap.
Yep. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. We are recording now.
Talladega to Daytona, Bristol, Charlotte, it's an normal way. NASCAR.
Welcome, y'all. That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 145. It's Thursday, May 5th, 2018. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace, joining in the PTM Podcast studio, Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
You know how we talk about when people are willing to come back? It's obvious that we didn't piss them off the first time.
Yep.
Or the first 2 times.
2 times.
In this case.
Oh,
All right, so
we're approaching PhD status with tonight's
well,
guest.
we're going to at least going to bestow upon him some kind of honorary degree.
That's right. Before we do that, y'all, this podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PTM. Join the Watch Your Drink Club for as little as $1 a month. Get your free koozies and stickers. Best part is every cent in 2018 we're donating to sponsoring drivers just like last year. So join the PTM Posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. Jensen Jorgensen, the PTM car, last week. First place, y'all.
Won again.
Woo! Crazy.
Not only that, he didn't just win. He crossed the finish line in 5th on the white
White flag
lap,
5th place.
and won the race.
On like a less than quarter mile.
Now, I'm guessing he had some help from somebody else boogering up some cars in front of him.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
Holy crap, y'all.
A win's a win's. When you win like 9 out of 11 races, it doesn't matter how you get your 12th or your 13th
No
or your
kidding.
15th.
No kidding. They just come. So with that, this week's show is brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That is Catherine Kingston, Ashley Stang, David Patterson, Laura Henshaw, Harry Balzania, Mick Rose, Aaron Bearden, Robert Keplinger, Tony Salt, Colby McClam, Eric Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Marilyn Best, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Baron and Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, Billy Workman, Rika Porter, Jumpy Bob and Les Mill, Jason Rudd, Tommy Witt, Mark Wiley, and it almost seems like an insult, Sherwin, to say welcome to the PTM posse to Julie Bosley.
That's right.
She's
been here a minute.
She's been here a long time, brother, and we owe her debts of gratitude that I don't know that I can pay back, you know?
Oh, without a doubt.
So
Hospitality at Bristol?
Yeah.
Hospitality at Eldora?
Yeah. At Bristol, she slid me a undisclosed amount of money, which qualifies her as the $5 and up per month level, and said, just take the money. I don't want to put my credit card number on the internet. I'm like, hey, I got you, no biggie. And so
she's definitely handed us over a wad of cash.
Yeah. So now I got to deal with the cash.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. Julie Bosley. Julie's going to be on the read every week. That's fantastic. So with that, Sherwin, we got a great guest tonight. He'll be on shortly. He's a little bit delayed tonight, but before we get to him, I think there's
we got to hit the pressing news, right?
Yeah.
The shocking news.
The shocking news, if you will. And it's not Dale Jr.'s baby. But we'll get to that.
No, that was kind of planned ahead.
Yeah,
I think we mostly knew that was going to happen.
Right. And the reason is it'd kind of be the elephant in the room if we're sitting here trying to talk back and forth. So before CJ comes on, we'll just go ahead and reel this one in with Spencer Gallagher taking the win, taking the checkered at Dega Xfinity race. And I mean, what an emotional win! How
a
cool
huge
was
deal
that?
for them.
That was incredible to watch, and with us being there and all that. Again, we'll get to all that, but then dinged for the what is it? The
substance abuse policy.
Yep, substance abuse policy, and the substances that they kind of turn a blind eye toward are alcohol and tobacco. But so that means it's something else, and who knows?
There's no need to speculate because the last, at least the last 2 of these that we were made aware of, Randy LaJoy, and AJ Allmendinger, both had sort of public outings of what it was. Like AJ really needed to do to the PR thing, being I want to get back to cup racing, so I got to tell everything. His was a one-time use of Adderall.
Yep.
Randy's was a one-time. Somebody was passing a joint and he hit it, and he had to test the next day, and that's what happens, y'all. You have to be if you want to be in this sport that requires this much concentration and has this much safety ramifications involved. You got to be on your game, and so we wish Spencer the absolute best. We know he's already entered the Road to Recovery program,
which means he's not taking the Mayfield route, which, I mean, say what you want. There's so much speculation.
There's a lot of conspiracy in that.
That's
deal.
the thing. Exactly. With all this, it's like I think people have realized you just do the road to recovery and get back. He probably goes to a doctor one time, just like Randy LaJoy did. I remember Randy LaJoy talking about it. He was like, I went to the doctor. I said, I'm not a pothead. I hit it one time. That was stupid. Sorry. And the doctor was like, here's your note. You're done.
Yeah, pretty much.
So probably.
And they can test for thresholds after, right? So if they only test for is it in your system and that's what gets you suspended, you can go back and ask for a threshold test that says, how much of this are you actually using?
Yeah.
And then they can work from there. And that's where the psychologists come in, and that's where potential rehab comes in. Probably not going to be the case in this situation. I would put a yardstick, as Joey Diaz says, a $20 bill on Spencer being back in that car in September.
Absolutely. He'll do the same stuff. So we got a question from Mick Rose at GoDucks42 _Mick. And of course, this is the PTM podcast, so we gotta have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
He says, "Do you think the Spencer Gallagher race win T-shirts are gonna be dope?"
I saw that.
That's one of those like, oh man, all right, too soon, but good.
That's a written joke. You need every word of that joke for it to work.
So good for you. Nice work, Mick. I like that one. You know what? Holy crap. Perfect timing. It looks like we've got CJ coming on. That's all we're going to do with that. So let's say this. Sherwin, let's welcome back to the show social media producer at NASCAR
for the third time.
For the third time, PETM multi-time alum, PhD coming up. Follow him on Twitter at CJ Walliver. He's the karaoke master at Talladega. It's CJ Walliver. CJ, what's happening, brother?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on. It is great to be back, and just so everyone knows, if you need any consultations from the PETM doctorates, that you have my Twitter handle. You can send me a direct message. I'll help any way I can.
Oh yeah. That thing is accredited by absolutely nothing.
I'm gonna hang it up. On the wall behind, in between my wife's art. My wife did these.
Holy cow!
That's why I put them in my shot. Look at that. She actually has real talent. I do Twitter and karaoke. She paints stuff. It blows my mind. She does a really good job. This is the first time I've done the video side of it, so this is fun. I can see you guys. I like this.
Yeah. We've graduated since last time.
We're just as ugly as we were last weekend,
right?
As it turns out.
CJ, you know how we start this thing. What you drinking tonight?
Well, in anticipation of this segment, tomorrow we do have Xfinity Series practice at Dover at 9:30 in the morning. So. Ooh. With that at the forefront right now, I'm drinking a North Carolina Classic.
Look at that!
It's a Virgin Sun Drop, just so you know. But throwing it back to a class. I know they're not sponsoring this podcast, but hey, all my North Carolina friends that at Sun Drop sponsor the PETM podcast, and CJ has cut, and we'll all be happy.
There you go. Or just flip us a couple dollars on the Patreon account.
Disciples.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll just throw it all in the Patreon account, and maybe they'll sling us a couple thou, and then we can get a.
I mean, the thing is too, if you guys have any of those old classic Dale Earnhardt Sun Drop bottles.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Used to have a couple of those. I don't know what happened to them. I'll take those as payment. Those will work for me.
Okay. All right. Well, if you come across something like that, those got to be worth about $500 a piece.
Sure. What are we drinking on tonight?
It's like a broken record at this point because, we have our standard. We have our, our white label Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. I got something on that later since I had such a gaffe last week. And Coke Zero, which is nice, a little caffeine, get us animated, keep us pumped up for the show. And then, of course, we're going to Dover, Delaware this weekend. How
fitting. One of the greatest micro or craft breweries in the U.S., and they're in the small state of Delaware.
Yeah, one of the original nationally distributed craft brews is Dogfish Head. Mm-hmm. And shout out Eric Kepner. Midas Touch, called Ancient Ale because it's even older than an old ale. So what that means is it's an ale brew style, but it's old and they threw so much sugar in it, it probably tastes like liquor, but like good liquor, like real tasty liquor.
And they had a TV show and stuff for a while that I watched. It was real cool.
And the Unveil.
The Unveil. He's got something special.
Ruffle the paper here a little bit.
There it is.
No. Since I so rudely stated that the Kentucky Derby was last week.
Womp womp,
which was 100% incorrect. I had to get a nice bourbon, a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey for this week. And you know me, I like labels. So we got a Lazy River here, trout.
I like it.
We're going to drink on this back later, and it's probably going to get a little nutty.
That looks awesome. Yeah. No, that's super cool. Yeah. The Dogfish Head folks, the ancient ales, they were like ancient brewing techniques and styles that they're doing. So that's really cool. Like they found recipes from Mesopotamia.
Yeah, like
Egypt. and decided to start brewing those. So
you guys turned this into such a cultural moment here during I like it. It's not just I'm drinking this beer. You guys have so much history and stuff to it. I feel lame now. I should have had some Sundrop history. I have none.
You kind of did.
So,
you said it was from North Carolina.
I mean,
I did. I know that part. Yeah, I guess.
You got any RC Cola or Cheer wine history you can drop
Yeah,
on?
no, and some moon pies, and I'd just be good to go.
Yeah.
There it is.
I'll be in North Carolina next week, by the way, so we may have to coordinate something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So North Carolina is always open to everyone, especially you.
But definitely not me.
Right.
That said, CJ,
Well, I mean, hey, I can only make one request at a time.
Standards.
So,
Standards. I get
yeah,
it.
I got to send a note to Richard Childress and Bruton Smith. They're the ones that kind of coordinate who can be in North Carolina. They own the place,
There's children in North Carolina, Russ. You definitely can't go there now.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yep. So, CJ, obviously, you were at Dega. Tell us about your weekend, what went on, and how much fun you had.
Well, there's no place like Talladega, and I understand. It doesn't matter what track you go to any of them, and you're going to come home saying, "Man, there's no place like Loudon," or "Man, there's no place like Bristol." And while that may be a true statement, Talladega is as much an event and a party and it seems like a fair and a convention all wrapped into a race weekend.
Yeah.
And I love Talladega. You can just feel the excitement when you walk in there, and it's not just all on the racetrack. It's the environment, it's the people, it's the parties that just go nonstop. You could go there on a Friday morning, never go to bed one time if you could survive that, and always have something to do at Talladega. But we had a really good weekend at Fox. We had 3 races on our broadcast network. We had the ARCA race on Friday night, which was incredible. That finish blew my mind. It was, if not the closest finish ever at Talladega, definitely toward the top of that list. They had to go to pictures because the transponders were not helping with how close that finish was. Then on Fox, we had Xfinity and Cup, both on the big network, with the Drivers Only broadcast, the second annual Drivers Only. Last year was Pocono, this year was Talladega, and that was a blast. We really had a lot of fun with that, and the drivers seemed to enjoy it too. So I'm hoping that that's kind of our new tradition, that we have at least one of those every year. It was a lot of fun. Did you guys get to see any of the clips from it?
I don't think I've seen clips yet. Of course, we watched all the racing stuff, but I don't think I had seen. You know what? We were listening. So here's funny. Here's what's funny. We were listening to Elliott Sadler's radio, and Clint Boyer called him on the radio after one of the after I think the second stage win is what he got.
Yeah.
Second stage win. I think it was the second one, and they were cutting up because they both have the same spotter Brett, of course.
Right.
A PETM multi-time alum. And so he was saying, "Hey, how's that spotter doing for you?" And Elliott's like, "Man, I'm keeping him warmed up for you." So that was the only sort of clip that I've had so far. I don't know if you'd heard or seen any other.
Well, I've heard a ton of that all that derogatory stuff they play on the Fox and that other 3-letter word broadcast.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone.
I want to see somebody hang up on us.
Yeah. So I tell you what I've really loved is, since we're doing a podcast, is those shows now they podcast. Like they podcast the whole show. So like if you miss, the video, the actual TV thing, or if you don't record it or whatever it is you do or don't do, you can go back and listen to it later. Yep. I believe right now Fox is posting theirs in the morning the day after, and them other guys, they're posting it whenever they post it. But it's still, like you can, if you miss the video, you can listen to it, and you can, life hack, 1.5x speed. It's a 44-minute content show in an hour, which means you can listen to it in like 32 minutes.
Yeah. So we're going to tear down Talladega here in a minute. Sherwin, before we do, it's time for Sherwin's bad advice. So Rusty has had bad advice for 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, right, it's my turn.
It's your turn. Yeah.
Awful advice.
Awful advice. Yeah. Sherwin's awful
this
advice.
PTM awful advice, Sherwin edition.
To catch you up, CJ, 2 weeks ago, I encouraged children to play with fire. It's an important thing to do. Last week,
you have to learn how to deal with it when you screw it up.
Yeah. I like the out of context version a little better, just to see his.
When you screw up playing with fire, when does that go correctly? That's my first question.
It's so later in life,
Nobody does it right the first time every time.
Right. So when there's a fire emergency, you're not as freaked out.
Practice makes perfect with playing with fire. Okay, that's good.
Right. So children play with fire. And number 2, last week was you need to make some major financial decisions while you're completely plastered every once in a while, and you're going to have a good time with it.
And by major, he means like there might be 4 digits involved, but the first one's a 1.
Yeah,
we're not talking about like a 7-digit decision here.
Yeah. No. I hadn't bought a house while wasting.
I need that second mortgage on my house. That sounds like a good idea.
Exactly. No. I shouldn't say major. I should say an impactful financial decision, such as going to Vegas or going to Dega.
Going to Vegas.
Both of those things did.
That's like $1,000 decision, all told.
Yep.
So
and I should say not only decide but execute too. Right.
You have to finish the deal.
You have to while still plastered. That's the whole thing.
Like you have to force yourself.
I bought tickets to Vegas plastered, and then me and you essentially we didn't buy the tickets, but it was decided we were going. We took the time off of work.
Oh yeah. What that was like a $500 decision between the two of us.
So Sherwin, it's time for Sherwin's awful advice.
So Sherwin's awful advice is now. What I would suggest is if we have young children listening, which we don't. Thankfully, then for sure do earmuffs on them.
Okay.
But however, start construction equipment after hours. All right.
Oh man.
You would be amazed how many times they leave keys in these things. And it is absolutely hilarious. And I got this idea from one of our fraternity brothers that said they had just got back they saw a backhoe on the side of the road on Interstate 85, like the connector, 75-85 in Atlanta, and they drove it a mile and parked it again and got out. And then not long after that, one of our other fraternity brothers, a set of them, craziest ones in the damn bunch, stole the Georgia Tech Stinger, like the bus that carries kids around campus.
Bus. It's a school bus.
They ran off with it.
Ran off with it.
And didn't get caught. They just parked. They did a couple rounds. They took some people to the liquor store or something, and then parked it. And then it was done. I'm like, all right, I'm driving stuff. So that's my awful advice of the week is if you see a piece of construction equipment on the side of the road or in a lot or whatever and you're walking by, go over and check if there's keys in it.
Dude,
and if there's keys in it, give it a hell.
It was my 21st birthday. I ain't lying. Now, statute of limitations are up because this has been like 15 years, y'all. So my 21st birthday, we went out and we had a good old time and all that mess. And we were coming back from – I won't say where we were coming back from, but it was a place where you go on your 21st birthday, right?
Oh, they have a great selection of shoes there.
Absolutely. And so we were walking back, and we're crossing the bridge.
Want to see every pair.
Yep. We were crossing the bridge, and there were 3 pieces of construction equipment. There was like a front loader, a backhoe, and one of the steamrollers, right? It wasn't steamroller.
It was the finishing roller.
Yeah,
the one that's like real heavy, but it's got like 7 wheels on the front, and then they're all it's like rubber tires. It's the one after the steamroller does his thing.
Yeah. So Sherwin jumps into the roller thing. This is after we're done with my 21st birthday, right?
Right. And it's just the two of us.
Of course, there's keys in the thing.
We're in good shape.
Yeah. We'd left everybody else behind. We were great. Sherwin jumps into the roller thing. Finds a way to put it in forward with all these levers. Smashes.
Oh, we didn't even have a key. It had a toggle switch.
Yeah. Smashes into the backhoe in front of him. Says, "Oh, poop." And finds reverse and smashes into the one behind him. Then finds park and says, "I'm out. I'm done." And got out of the thing.
Couldn't turn it off.
We left
it running.
Left it running for the rest of the night. Diesel fuel burning forever. And, so...
Do you realize how fortunate you are that this was 15 years ago, which is before everything was instantly recorded and then uploaded to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter?
Our lucky stars on a daily basis that there was not smartphones and Facebook and YouTube when we were in college.
It was not
I'm
quiet
sitting here racking my brain trying to come up with an applicable story to add to this portion of the broadcast. I love you guys. I don't have one. I really don't. I'm trying very hard.
That's all right.
So
I don't have any of those stories.
We call it red cred. We get it honest. Like it's we grew up in the suburbs, but the red is man.
Oh, the red is what
I grew up and had red neck creds. You'd think I'd have some of these, but I don't. That's the new one for me. I mean, I don't know. Me and my brother spent a weekend trying to see how far we could get a two-wheel trailer to roll down a hill before it would, the neck would stick into the ground. So we did that for a few days.
Before you go endo,
motorized.
That's like them fools riding them trash cans down the hill at Bristol.
Oh, at Bristol, yeah, riding the trash.
Yeah, that is fun. I've seen that before. I've never participated, but I've seen people doing that before.
I don't know what I would have to do to participate in that. So, with that, Sherwin, let's start tearing it down, and we're going into the report card session. Here's our tear it down. You know how this works. We're going 5 periods and some recess here. First period, Sherwin, give us a grade. Actually, we'll let our esteemed guests go first. Give us a grade, CJ. It's A through F or whatever letter you want to give. Pluses and minuses are up to you. If you want to give a number grade or like a zebra or whatever, it doesn't even matter.
Okay.
It's kind of like, what is that? The whose line is it anyway? Where like,
the
points don't matter and it's all made
up and the points don't matter.
Yeah. So we typically stay to a report card grade, but if we get excited enough, we'll go crazy.
Sure.
So first period, the Talladega infield. Give us your report card grade on the Talladega infield this last weekend.
I'll be honest, I've got to give that an A. The Talladega infield never disappoints. And honestly, it was close to disappointing. And I'll tell you why. It just seems like on my schedule, I almost always end up going to Talladega in the fall, not for the spring race. I go there to support the trucks race during the fall. And when I'm there in the fall, there are a bunch of guys that are set up on the boulevard, and all they do from Thursday night through typically Sunday after the race is karaoke. That's their thing, and they have a good time with it. Well, I ended up being buddies with these guys, and that was sort of my after media center destination. I would just go and do karaoke with these guys. I couldn't find any. There wasn't any karaoke on the boulevard, and I was upset. But then the PETM boys and girls came to my rescue and had their own Bluetooth setup with mics and karaoke. And I may not be the point of karaoke is not to sound good singing. And I figured that out a few years ago. That's not why people want to do karaoke. They want to do karaoke to be entertained, to have fun. And that part I can do. So we had fun with karaoke in the infield. And I don't believe any videos survived from that. Maybe that's for the best, but we had a good time with karaoke, me and your camping friends there in the infield. And that honestly really made it for me. I mean, once I finally found, for some reason, I'll never forget Geico Green 136. That was your camping spot.
I would have forgot that already.
Camp there in the fall, you'll know where they are. But couldn't find that for forever. And the people in the infield helped me. Strangers that didn't know me from Adam. I wasn't wearing any logos. Just the skinny kid that was lost walking around the infield, and they helped me out. So I got to say, infield gets an A from me.
Sherwin, that's a great segue into our huge shout-out to Stacy Coleman, her husband Harold, the party crew of 16 people strong in the Dega infield. Stacy, y'all got to go follow Stacy at ILoveLUV88 Jr. And she just hooked it up. Sherwin, you met her back in Darlington. And y'all had a great time, and then suddenly she's like, "Oh yeah, come party with us." We show up, and when I'm thinking, here's the thing: I don't get any. I didn't understand what the implications were of, "Hey, yeah, just come party with us." It could have been 2 people, it could have been 100 people, but we show up, and there are 3 campers in like 3 sides of a rectangle, parked together with the party
like
in the middle.
U-shape in the middle.
Yeah. And we roll up within, half an hour, dude named DP out from Louisiana, he rolls up. He's got he's making mud bugs, right? He's got the crawfish boiling.
Yeah, most of these folks are from Arkansas, and they were so awesome. It was like Ted, Tim, Sonia. I'm not going to remember all the names. Oh, and she's a great singer. She actually did. She was the one that was actually good at karaoke.
Right.
Like the singing part of karaoke. But yeah, I mean, I had no idea what we were getting into, really. I met Stacy at Darlington. We had a great time. It was fun. She's like, "Hey, we always go to Talladega in the spring. You should come." And, that was September.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't really know how solid of an invite that is. And then, 6 weeks ago, she's like, so you coming or what?
Oh, okay.
Rusty, if we can, I was like, I might go by myself.
Yeah. I remember you saying that. I might go just because Stacy's there. And I don't know Stacy from whoever at this point.
Yeah. And so, we talked about last week, Rusty had made him a couple of drinks and found out his wife was traveling and was like, hey, man, so Dega?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dega.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And
well,
so
and that's the thing, too. I don't know if that's a NASCAR thing or if that's a Southern thing. I think it's a little bit of both. But I honestly had never met any of these people at all. And I'd never met you guys face to face. We had just been on the phone and on Twitter a few times. And I'll walk up and I'm instantly part of the family. I'm camping. They're hey, come over here and sit down. Hey, we've got food. Hey, we've got drinks. What do you want to do? Hey, come, take this microphone, sing, and hang out with CJ. Glad you stopped by. Pat me on the back as I walked out. It was incredible, and it was a lot of fun.
This happens so often, and we don't take it for granted at all. But the fact that people are willing to do this, we showed up with our tent, with canopies, with food for the whole weekend. I'm telling you, we could have shown up with my truck out of gas, and we would have been solid the whole weekend and had a full tank of gas before I left.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was that cool.
Well,
my God.
You guys marked something off of my bucket list, and I've been doing this for so long. It's still amazing to me that I've never done it. I've never tinted an infield. And I want to so bad. It's just it's never worked out because now I'm always working. So should probably be able to get up early, get cleaned up, get to work, have clothes ironed, that sort of thing. So it's a little impractical now. But man, I've always wanted to just wake up, be in the infield, sun coming up, climbing out of a tent, and be at the racetrack. I want to do that so bad. I got to figure that out at some point. I'm gonna do that one of these days.
Hey, I got more tents.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I got all the tents. I got 3 tents now for whatever reason. But
that's right. We got to bring Brandon one to Darlington because he's all in.
Yeah, awesome.
So
can't wait for that.
Shout out to Brandon Crowd from Lap Traffic. Already bought his ticket.
He got the kitchen
to come
pass
to
and
Atlanta.
Everything.
Meet us on Thursday night. May even be here in time to be on the podcast.
Oh, that'd be super cool.
And then we're going to drop him off in Columbia, and he's going to fly back to Detroit from Columbia.
Hell yeah. That's fantastic.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're going to have an awesome time with that. But, Sherwin, got to give our grades. The Talladega infield, between that and Talladega Boulevard, I mean, I knew about it, but I don't think there's enough. We just walked, maybe 100 yards from our campsite, and now it's Talladega Boulevard. And you just walk down, and there's a party in every campsite. And that was something I didn't expect. I knew about it, but I knew more of the lore than the actuality. And the actuality, I mean, pretty well lived up to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know what my expectation was because when I go to have a good time, I want to make sure I don't have an expectation because who wants to be disappointed? The weekend at Talladega was so freaking awesome. I don't even care what anybody's saying about the racing. We're going to probably get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But Talladega Boulevard was awesome. It reminded me, the next closest experience that it reminded me to was when we went to Vegas and we went to Old Vegas.
Yeah.
And we walked up and down the old strip there, and there's every 6 bays there was live music.
Yeah.
Some kind of music, whether it was dancing or there was actually a band playing.
Right.
That was cool as hell.
Yeah. A+ there for me on the infield. We'll even talk a little bit more about infield because we'll get into the racing here in a little bit. But the camping and everything, CJ said it right at the very beginning right there, is there's a lot of places that you say this place is one of a kind, and Talladega infield to me, and how huge it was too. That was surprising. I mean, how huge the track is. But even once you're in there, I can't believe how huge this place is.
Well, when I walked down to see Ed Mott all the way down there in turn 1, those guys, those were Louisiana guys. I mean, they talk like them guys on that Swamp show,
Swamp People,
which was awesome. I'm like, I don't think I've ever really talked in person with somebody that has that lower Louisiana swamp accent, and it was so much
Cajun
fun.
French.
Met Ed, his son, and their the rest of whoever was with them. That was so cool. It was a long walk, but it was cool. But It was a long walk.
And I got to derail us here for just a second. I'm actually reading the comments because I'm vain like that. And Laura Henshaw says that I'm too pretty to be a redneck. Well, I'm taking that as a compliment. And JoJo says that I'm pretty too. So
I saw her and JoJo kind of giving a little, thumbs up to the.
Yeah. They were definitely giving you.
I'm just gonna sit here and smile, and you guys can do all the talking.
That's right. They've never said that I'm cute, so I must be real ugly.
Going on, and I am happy with it. So
yeah. So hold on now, to both of them, since they're paying attention. All right. So is Jake Owen and Dierks Bentley and Matthew McConaughey, are they too pretty to be rednecks? They're all redneck as hell.
They're obviously just not as pretty as I am.
Well,
there you go.
I tell you what.
Just saying.
Time for second
Roger
period.
They need to catch up.
Bon ton roulette. All right.
They can sing and play guitars. You can't have it all, people. Come on now.
Second period, Sherwin. Let's for
it's
fun.
Been the longest school day ever.
It's all good. For fun, rate your hangover on Sunday morning.
Rate your hangover. Well, so actually, I don't think mine was that bad.
Okay.
But I did follow Stacy's advice and drink one bottle of water and then drink a beer.
Good call.
It's one of those, you either have Tylenol and 3 bottles of water or you just have a beer. We talked about that last week. And so the beer helped.
The reason I put this in here is old Rusty was in, we'll call it rare form on Saturday night. I forgot how to walk at one point.
Well, you did the first Irish goodbye I've ever seen you do. That was kind of fun. I was like,
yo, where'd Rusty go?
Where's Rusty?
We were just walking. The thing is, we were just walking the boulevard.
You were just in there, and I'm like, oh, he did a me.
You were just gone. So that's not on us.
Oh man, I was I remember everything, but I remember like at one point having to coach myself. Like, come on, Rusty, you can do this. You gotta get to the tent. All right, you made it to the tent. Now unzip the thing. No, don't fall down on the tent. Unzip the thing.
If you could video the number of times that I have like studied the front of that old red Coleman tent.
Yeah. All right. Here's the deal.
I can still kill the chicken.
Yeah. I'm not gonna rate mine a Z minus. I'm gonna go for an F though. Like, I did not feel good Sunday morning, and it took me till race time, like until the race started, and I cracked that first beer, and I'm telling y'all, they say hair of the dog and blah blah blah, and you never want it when you're that messed up the next day.
Oh, you were talking about Sunday. Sorry, I was thinking of Monday.
Oh no, Sunday.
No, I had a
Saturday
couple.
Night. It was
a couple
bad.
of big glasses of water, and then Stacy just eyeballed me and said, "You want a Bloody Mary?" And I'm like,
"Oh yeah, that was Saturday morning." She asked me, and I was like, "I will throw
Saturday
up
or
on
Sunday
you."
morning?
That was Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do the Bloody Mary."
Because I was like, "No," and what was funny, you were still asleep. She asked me, "You want a Bloody Mary?" I was like, "No, but Sherwin will. I promise."
That's funny.
Anyway, CJ, did you have any sort of feelings on Sunday morning before the race?
Well, I'll be honest. I had what I guess you could call a Talladega hangover. Wasn't an alcohol hangover, but Saturday was intense labor-wise for me. If you've never been to Talladega, I know there's this stereotype. It's the truth, not just stereotype, but that it's the biggest racing surface in NASCAR. It is. It's huge. Mm-hmm. But that also extends to the infield and the different locations where members of the media have to work. I was working in the media center and then had to be in the Hollywood Hotel in order to do a different part of my job. The media center is at the top of the dog leg there at Talladega, top of the triangle where it says this is Talladega.
Yep.
And the Hollywood Hotel is at the start-finish line, which is at the entrance to turn one.
Yep.
I probably made that jog 5 or 6 times a day, Friday and Saturday. Then had to be in the booth as well, in the TV booth, which luckily consisted of a golf cart ride. But it was a long day on Friday and Saturday. I mean, it's a labor of love, so I'm not complaining. But by the time we got to Sunday, I was almost spent.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything to do with any sort of adult drinks or substances, but I was spent. So, it was I've ran a lot type of hangover
Yeah.
on Sunday. But then they throw the green, and you always get that second win because we're racing at Talladega. So come time to go racing, I felt a whole lot better. But what was so funny was the time, almost exactly when those checkers hit, I was done.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, I'm not like. I contemplated just staying up before my flight out of Birmingham on Monday because I was afraid if I go to sleep and know I don't have to be at the racetrack, I'm never going to get back up. But it was cool. It was kind of that accomplished, tired feeling.
Yeah.
That's what you feel like after a weekend like Talladega. You just like, yeah, that was tough, but we got a lot done. It was a good weekend. So that's my. I guess I'll give it a C. Because I guess it was a hangover,
okay.
but it didn't involve alcohol.
Yeah. Mine was definitely involving alcohol, and but had the same cure. As soon as that green flag dropped, man, crack open that first beer, hit it, and you go, "Oh, I'm in, I'm back." Like high five Sherwin, dude, I'm back. He's like, "You're back."
Well, in this world, circles cures all is what I always say.
Yep.
So.
I'll tell you what.
Time for third period, Sherwin. Sunday's race. Some people said it was too long. Joey Logano probably thinks it was just about right. Let's rate the racing action that we saw on the track. And let's start with CJ. What did you see from your perspective? And we'll compare to what we saw from our perspective because we had an interesting perspective, Sherwin.
Sure.
I kind of wish that the leaders had gone for a little bit more there at the end. That was what bugged me. And I thought the race was great leading up into the finish. But then after the race, Chase Elliott said, that he thought it was a little weird that they were showing so much patience and that somebody needed to just try to make something happen and he would have gone with them, but nobody did. I think Joey Logano was the strongest car. I think that he definitely fought for and deserved that win, but there wasn't really a whole lot of people making moves there at the end to try and get up and win that race. I think there were a lot of people by that point that were kind of in the mindset of, I want to survive Talladega. I'd rather have a second place finish as end up in the garage with 4 laps to go. And I think because of that, I'll give it a B-. I enjoyed the race, and it always makes me happy to see somebody break a winless streak. And we hadn't seen Joey get to victory lane since his cucumber at Richmond the year before.
Yep.
So was happy to see that for them. But I kind of wish somebody had made a few more moves there toward the end to try to make something happen as we came to the checkers.
Sherwin, as you know, as I've said on the PTM podcast many times, I've boycotted Talladega for a few years now, maybe 4 years now. I haven't watched a Talladega race because I keep saying it's boring. It's just this pack that runs around, doesn't do anything. But I will lift the boycott for an in-person, deal because, now you're at the track. Of course I'm going to watch it there. And, of course, I know I'm going to have fun. But let me tell you, dude, this was there's only a few places where this has happened to me, where I watched the entire race and said, damn it, I could have watched 500 more miles. And I'll tell you what, that had a lot to do with was the circumstances that we were in. So me and Sherwin were totally in on, we're just going to go buy grandstand tickets, and we'll figure it out, at that point, for Xfinity and Cup, right? But props to Stacy again. Stacy tells us, y'all need to come out here and just watch some of the qualifying from the backstretch in the huge grass area back there. And we watched a little bit of the qualifying, and me and Sherwin sort of turn to each other and go, how about maybe we'll just watch the Xfinity race from here. That'll be fun.
Right.
We watch the Xfinity race from there, and probably 2/3 of the way through the Xfinity race, we turn to each other again and go, dude, maybe we ought to watch a Cup race from here too.
Right.
And what you do, so here's the thing. You drag, you can throw them in the back of a truck, or you can just drag them over there. You bring your own chairs. You bring your coolers. Coolers can have bottles in them. It ain't like in the grandstands. You bring your own lawn chairs. You can prop your feet up on your coolers.
You can bring a damn grill if you want to.
Bring grills. People had grills. People had pop-up tents and all kinds of crap. It's like going to the beach or something. And then there's a race. And holy crap. And that's the reason. So sitting back there, listening on the radio, you can walk up to the fence when you want to. There's porta potties if you get, when you have to go pee because you're drinking all the beer. Dude, that was one of the best racing experiences, maybe the best racing experience I've had, just in terms of comfort and accommodation. And I could have, like I said, again, I could have watched 500 more laps. I was disappointed at the end of stage 1 and then stage 2 and then end of race, because end of stage 1 I was like, damn, we already did one stage. And end of stage 2, damn, this race is halfway over. And then in stage 3, damn, I want more.
Right.
And so
exactly.
Good on them. Here's the thing, y'all. You go in that infield. It just changed the perspective. And what I mean by that whole soapbox is, from a guy who consistently boycotts this race, to going from that to, I'm going to give this the A++, the highest grade I can give in terms of how cool that was, and how much fun we had watching it. I think 500 miles is the perfect amount for that. Leave me wanting more, but it still had 4 hours of fun there. Dude, something you talked about. There was a lot of strategy, especially in that first stage. There was like no single pack. There wasn't even pack racing to start with. That was crazy.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought, to bring back one of our favorite comedians doing one of our favorite actors, I thought the Ford camp with 10 cars that are perfectly capable of running well at a track like Talladega, a plate race, kind of did the natty boo boo, and they did the road course strategy, because they have 10 cars and they're out there running around, and all of a sudden the other manufacturers are scrambling on, oh, we've got to do this too, but we don't have 10. We've got maybe 6, maybe 8. And so what was really cool to me was to hear, all the shows this week talk about how out there in the first stage, the Fords were running 0.6 of a second faster than the Toyota group. They were hauling the mail. And I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. I mean, granted, at Talladega, you probably need to be worried about a wreck, but I don't know that you can strategize on wrecks.
Sure.
So I thought it was really cool what they did to try to get some points. And I don't know. I guess being in person just changed perspective so much. I'm not saying that. I'm not telling anybody that watched it on TV and said, I thought that sucked. I'm not telling you should think it doesn't suck. Because if you think it sucked, that's fine. What I'm telling you is, go to Talladega, stay on the infield, and watch the race from in the infield.
From the grass.
And that will change your perspective. Give yourself the most opportunity to have sensory exposure.
I think the only problem.
Man, my friends at Talladega Super Speedway need to cut a promo clip out of this podcast. I love that. Is how we sell tickets, is selling those sort of perspectives and stories from people seeing this sort of stuff. Because I've been to Talladega every year now for probably 5 years, but I've not seen it from that specific perspective. So it's something new that now I'm going to have to put some vacation days in, or at least one, for the Cup race next year at Talladega, because now I want to see this.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You got to quit your
all
job.
Different vantage points, but not that one.
Yeah.
Well, so, and that's one of the things we try to convey, and one of the reasons why we always, we wanted to do this podcast is to give people our experience, because we know we're going to go to a lot of races. That's kind of what we do. And I'm a hand talker, so everybody on YouTube seeing my hands go everywhere. But it's the total experience that matters. Like, if the race wasn't the best thing you ever saw, like if you didn't get to see Carl Edwards as a rookie pass Jimmy Johnson on the last lap in 2005 in the spring race at Atlanta, like, what's the coolest thing that we've probably seen in racing in terms of on-track product. Okay, if you don't ever get to see that, make sure you have all these other experiences that are available to you. Talladega was arguably, and Rusty and I can fight this out later, arguably the best camping experience that we have had yet in NASCAR.
Camping / racing. And let me put the whole package together. Like, that was the best NASCAR weekend I've ever had.
Yeah, and I'm psyched for the next one.
And again, this is coming from the guy. I'm trying to put this.
And Rusty's
boycotted.
Not wrong. Rusty is deliberately planned. I was, for the first time last year, I deliberately planned an event that forced me to miss the race.
Yeah.
And I'm
not sure that I've heard this. I mean, maybe this might be something that your listeners that know this story of her, but why did you boycott Talladega before this weekend?
Because it's boring as hell, man.
Because they used to ride for 180.
I gave it a B minus. I gave it a B minus compared to other Talladega races, just because I wanted to see some more aggression there as we got closer to the checkers. But
for me, it was. And listen, remember Tony even saying it. Tony Stewart said, "Man, this is just 186 laps of running around, and then 2 laps of crashing." And that was what it was for me for so long. It's who cares what happens at the beginning and middle? It's really about there's 15 people who can win at the end, and who knows? Let's just flip a coin and let it happen.
Well,
and
I don't necessarily trust Tony Stewart's perspective on that. Because he's out there crashing. He's out there crashing race cars. He's not watching races. So I've always kind of taken Tony's perspective on the entertainment value of racing with a little bit of a grain of sand. But I always go back to, or grain of salt. But I always go back to, Dale Earnhardt's final Cup win, and I know that's a long time. I know that's going back 18 years. But what he did there in that car is one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen someone do to go and get a victory. Coming down when we had it, I forget what year it was, but it was back when we were doing the tandem drafting of 3 wide.
So that's part 2, by the way.
Yeah, hold on just 1 minute.
Part 2
I know we talked about this a little bit.
I love tandem drafting so much that when they got rid of it, that was part of my boycott too.
Okay. I liked the tandem drafting as well. I can get why they want to get back to that pack racing, because it did have such a potential to be well, these 2 guys are gone and no one's going to catch them unless we have a caution. That was definitely a possibility. But I think a little bit of the racing product this week was kind of a result of that last-minute restrictor plate change. I think that changed a lot more than just the speed of these cars, and I think that was one thing that guys didn't know what their vehicles were going to do. But I still think Talladega's always been fun. I think this was and it's funny that you're so excited after this one, because I thought it was one of the lesser entertaining Talladega races we've had in a while, but that's just compared to the other years where I've thought it's been awesome.
Well, that's because we watched it in person we watched it from the entrance at Turn 3 live there. You can stick your hands on the fence.
Well, and if you followed Twitter, everybody was bitching about, and I shouldn't say bitching about, they were correctly giving negative feedback to the TV crew for not like the people doing the TV, but for TV for showing so many commercials. I'm probably stepping in or treading in bad territory for CJ here, but there was a lot of commercials that people were doing some complaining and stuff.
I saw a lot of that,
but again, in person, what a difference. So
y'all go to Talladega, damn it! Camp in the infield. You come. Hey, just call us. We'll call Stacy. She'll get an extra spot. About 10 more of y'all son bitches can come
and karaoke.
Yeah, and I just one thing too about the commercials thing. I'm just curious as to how much money people paid for the Fox channel over the weekend, because wait, that's a free channel. Okay, that's cool. So,
hey man, there's lots of different perspectives, and I won't go into it because
and we did play. And the thing is too is if you look at the math, we actually did play less commercials this year than we did last year. I think it just felt a little bit different because the race did go by a bit quicker. So it's just commercials are a part of TV broadcasting, and definitely during live events. I think people are so used to skipping ads during canned content that live content makes that a little bit more difficult, but.
That's actually a good point nowadays.
We're in the entertainment business, and we're there to sell and attract advertisers. So,
I work in that industry. I work in that industry. Like we make software for that industry, and so advertisements pay my paycheck. So I got no foot to stand on.
Mine too.
Yeah, I got no foot to stand on there.
Well, I think the big thing is that maybe the eyeballs that we're competing for entertainment are they're used to sports that have they have automatic stops. Like we talked about with the MOATF guys, that American football, every play is a set piece.
Yeah.
As we compare it to soccer, where in soccer, you have a set piece every 2 or 3 minutes probably where you have a kick and because there's a foul or
baseball's the easiest one every half inning.
Yeah,
baseball
has
18 commercial breaks.
If you have a pitching change, you get you have a commercial opportunity there. So that's one of the things that One of the things I want to constantly try to compare NASCAR to, even though NASCAR fans would try to hang me from my neck, is compare it to soccer in that, for 45 minutes they do not take a commercial break.
Or say hockey.
So
for example,
or hockey, they don't take a commercial break either, except for in between periods, because they don't have like full on stops. Like they might have a drop puck because of a violation of a rule, but they're not cutting to commercial for that. So how do they do it? We know that those viewerships are actually quite similar to NASCAR. They're in the 2.5 to 3 million range.
Yeah.
Versus like 45 million for
sure
for NFL or whatever. Like we don't even. That's not a comparable deal. But like the NHL and soccer might be.
Yeah. I think there's some merit to the argument about the stage racing was supposed to decrease the amount of commercials and
it
breaks
didn't at all.
And it really. I haven't seen the exact numbers or anything, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. But let's abandon the topic for CJ's sake because we're pooping all over his people right here, man.
Yeah, so definitely not trying to
love him. So fourth period, Dale and Amy's kid. Awesome news. Everybody's healthy and happy. They named it Isla Rose.
Isla Rose.
I say it. So here's a funny thing. At work, I
right
always
now it's still an it.
I do that all the time. I'm like, well, they named it blah blah, and somebody will go, you just said it. This is a human being. I was like, we talked about this last week. I'm 35 years old and childless. It is.
Yeah, but some jackleg will get mad at you for calling their dog an it.
Oh yeah, well,
no, that's a she. I mean,
yeah.
Where are we drawing a line?
Yeah, Here's my pet snake. Oh, look at that!
A live object can be an it.
So I had to score the point. So.
Now you're an adorable dude with an adorable dog. You're going to get all our people.
Right? I've just got it rolled. This is Andy, everybody, but I can put him up. I was trying to find my opportunity to bring him in here because he was just sitting here staring at me. So there you go. That was my cheesy dog endorsement.
So congrats for having a barkless dog.
Yeah.
What's that?
We hadn't heard it yet.
Congrats on having a barkless dog.
It's kind of blowing my mind, to be completely honest, because he usually never shuts up. But he's entertained. He's listening to you guys. But
so, here we go.
I'm still a little upset that they didn't name her like Delina or Darlene something. I mean, that we could have done. That could have worked, right?
Well, I think it's hilarious that there's a whole bunch of NASCAR fans and probably even Dale Jr. fans that don't even know how to pronounce the name.
Isla Rose.
Did we all decide?
Isla is Scottish.
Isla
is Scottish. It's the female version of the same name but spelled slightly different. The Isla, that is the island in Scotland where they make Isla Scotch.
Right.
So that is very much like, that's up my alley, freaking Scotch.
Well,
I'm digging
Scotch.
Scotch.
I did not know Isla Fisher. I mean,
right?
Like the hottest redhead in Hollywood for 10 years.
So Rose, of course, a flower. So we have Island Flower. I'm giving that a solid A because
and I'll be honest too. If we, when you say it all together, Isla Rose Earnhardt, that does sound pretty good.
That's
that
pretty
kind
good.
of rolls off the tongue.
And that
I hope they call her Isla Rose, like the combo.
Isla Rose.
Isla Rose.
Yeah. That's got the red cred too, right? Because
that is red.
We're talking about Betty Sue and Paula Jean and all that.
That's red cred.
Yeah.
Right
so
there.
Isla Rose, that's like modern red.
Amy go by the initials and just be like E.R. Earnhardt or something, like E.R.J.R. Come on, there's something there we could do.
I like it.
I mean, Amy's from Kentucky. She's red.
For sure. Fifth period, dude. The All-Star fan vote is on. Give us Bubba's chances of winning the All-Star fan vote.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking everybody. We'll all go.
99.9%. I think Matt D's going to give him a good run for his money. Chase Elliott, but I really think Bubba Wallace has a really good shot at that.
Sherwin.
See, I think Bubba's chance is if Chase races his way in.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bubba's primary contender for the vote is going to be DiBurrito.
Yeah.
And so, he may need both of those guys to race their way in. He needs Chase to win a pole or a race.
Yeah.
And we only got 1 week to do that.
True.
And he may not be able to beat DiBurrito in the fan vote. So he may have to win the shootout race or whatever. What do we call that race now? The buttholes race? I don't.
Doesn't matter at this point.
That's always such a good race, though. The past few years, the Open's been awesome.
I agree with you.
It's been
I totally
so
agree.
much fun.
Well, hell, for personal interest, Casey won the Open when he had a crappy year and then won the All-Star race in a crappy car.
I'm giving it a straight B for the reasons we've already said.
I didn't even give a grade.
It could be an
I didn't
A.
either. I said no, I'll give it an A.
Yeah, it could be an A if one of the things that Sherwin just said. If Chase wins a pole, we're talking about A. Without that, it's a little bit of a toss-up, but I really like the chances, and I think we're still riding the high of Daytona for Bubba.
Oh, yeah. I think Bubba can beat DiBurrito in the race. But he would have to win it to guarantee himself.
Sure.
And so, yeah. How about I give it like a big old fat B+.
All right, perfect. And it's time for recess. Let's give a grade. It's a recess grade. CJ's performance of Old Red by Blake Shelton. Sherwin, this one's up to us.
Oh, we have to grade?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that has got the guts to sing Old Red on karaoke is always going to get an A from me.
Dude, A++. Everybody was singing
Thank you.
Everybody was singing it. That gives the PTM highest grade possible.
Well, I mean, love got me in here, love got me out. But hey, and also I did it a cappella too.
Which one did you do? I remember that because the music cut out.
Red-haired blue ticks all in the South. Love got me in here.
It was awesome.
True story. But that's how we got red-haired blue ticks down where I'm from. But maybe a lesser known fact is the blue tick. That's actually Elliott Sadler's, and Elliott Sadler and Blake Shelton are apparently cousins. So that's just a reference to the old music video.
Well, Elliott Sadler was in the truck, one of those trucks for that music video, I think.
Is that right?
He and Blake have been friends for a long time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's time to go into Ask PETM. We've got a couple questions from, we'll call him Ricky Poophouse Jr. at Poophouse Jr., and I'm not going to say the poop
I thought
part.
we were going to say it all. I'm glad you took that because I was going to say the whole thing.
It's Ricky Shithouse Jr. I mean, come on, whatever.
It's a real funny Twitter name.
It's funny. I love this question. Who is your nomination for the next president of NASCAR? And if Brian France is gone, who's your nomination? Now, here's a deal, Sherwin. I thought of two here. I thought of realistic and unrealistic. Realistic, I think OD Steve would be really cool there with his presence in social media, with his dedication to the fans, and that experience that he brings to be able to bring that into the top position and make some decisions based on that. I think he's really good. He's got his ear to the ground on what's going on. Unrealistic, Dale Jarrett would be an awesome president of NASCAR, and he's got the chops.
So here's the thing, and I know this is a very semantical argument, is I met the president of NASCAR, Brent Dewar.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I think we're talking about whatever role we describe Brian Zane France to be. I think it's CEO at this point.
Whatever it is.
Chief Executive Officer. He needs to go, and so all the things that you just said totally apply. I don't know that Dale Jarrett, I don't know that he would want the job. So you have to combine who would be good at it and who would want to do it.
And so that's
Eddie Gossage.
Who was good? Eddie Gossage. Wow.
So I'm leaning towards you on this. I actually read some stuff today, and it wasn't pro Eddie Gossage. It was I think we need a promoter at the head of this ship.
We do.
The dragon, breathe some fire, the right kind of fire.
Okay.
And Humpy Wheeler's too old.
Don King's
we can't bring him. Yeah, so Eddie Gossage.
Eddie Gossage, he studied directly under Humpy. He is a product of Humpy Wheeler's career. That is where Eddie Gossage came from. And the stuff they do at Texas Motor Speedway, I mean, just going down to the fire in Victory Lane, the horses in the media center, that sort of stuff. I would love to see Eddie Gossage's role in NASCAR expand beyond that of Texas Motor Speedway. I think the sport as a whole could use more Eddie Gossage. I really do.
Yeah. Hashtag 100%, which means everybody's got a drink.
Word.
While I don't agree with everything Eddie Gossage says, I do believe he would be good at the top of NASCAR. I think Brent Dewar is doing a great job, especially engaging fans, myself included. He tweeted out a picture of me in my More Short Tracks shirt from the Tweet Up on Sunday morning, which thank you to him. I think we're going to have him on the show at some point. He's going to be on Lap Traffic next week, so good for them. We'll listen to that.
How about Vince McMahon?
Well, if you could,
you said promoter.
Well, if you could convince him to make less money than he makes, I mean, whoa. WWE kicks NASCAR's rear end in making money.
I want someone that knows and understands the plight, maybe, I guess, of these drivers and owners. I want someone that knows racers, that's been around them, that is in the garage, that understands that ecosystem that is the garage. And I think Brent Dewar is doing a tremendous job there. But like I said, we were talking more of the Brian France role, because, of course, he has been doing this for a long time, and there might be a time to where he decides that, he's going to move on to other, or just maybe, spend more time with family, that sort of thing. So I really think someone in that role, or the leadership roles in NASCAR, need to be people that understand this sport and how to get it in front of more eyeballs, but also that understands the competitors and what they're going through and what can help them, and at the same time translate well with the fans. So that's why Eddie Gossage is my pick. I think he checks all of those boxes.
Love it. With that, let's gas it up. We are going to Dover. We've got a great question from Mick Rose at GoDucks42_Mick. He says Jimmy Johnson has led 0 laps this season. Does that change this week at Dover, where he has where he has 500 wins? Like, he just totally threw that.
Well, and the cool stat with that too is, just to put it into a little bit of perspective, Jimmy Johnson has 11 wins at the Monster Mile. Everyone else in the field that was racing last week, the other 39 drivers in the field, combined for 12 wins at the Monster Mile. So I honestly think, I'm not sure that he gets to victory lane. He's been having a hard time, but I definitely think he leads some laps and looks like the Jimmy Johnson of old this weekend.
So, not to call you out, but did you include Kansas in there?
Look out!
Because if
you I do not know about that, if Kenseth was included in that or not.
Pull him out, I bet
it wouldn't appear so, would it?
He won like 4 races there. If you pull him out, like, did anybody else win a race at
I mean, look,
he's been
the
racing.
Stat report in front of me.
Yeah, no, that was mostly for comedic humor, but yeah, I mean, like, not too many. I think Brad won at Dover once.
Well, here we can go back. I mean, Kyle, Jimmy, Truex won there.
Truex has got
Harvick,
2 wins there.
Jimmy again, Jeff, Tony, but now we're getting into like 6-8 years ago. Brad won
Well, we did this last
early career
to
Infineon.
Exactly. We talked about or in Sonoma, sorry, not Infineon.
Kenseth, Jimmy.
So it's like, there's Jimmy. And then there's like Bobby Allison.
Biffle in 08.
Biffle Missile.
Oh, man, stick with the Biff.
Must have been
Look at this.
mileage.
Jumpy Bob, the 48 driver, will not lead any laps at Dover. Sorry.
Ooh, all right.
Bob,
give us.
Oh, there we
go.
Right, there's a hard take.
There you go.
Hard take.
Over under. Give us your over under on let's say 1 lap led at Dover for Jimmy. CJ. Over or under?
Over under 1 lap?
Yes. Yeah. 1.5.
1.5.
Give you a hook.
We'll give it a hook.
Over. I think he leads. I think he leads a handful at least. I'm not sure. Like I said, they've had a hard time close. I think they need something to regain their confidence, because I really think that 48 team is a huge momentum team. But I think if they're going to turn it around anywhere, that they turn it around in Dover. But I'll also give another take on this. I think if Dover is in line with the way the rest of their 2018 season has been so far this year, I think if we leave Dover and Johnson sucked again, I really think they're going to I think the rest of the season stays the way it is.
And we talked about it last week.
It's a make or break weekend for the 48, I think.
And I didn't look at the standings, but as of last week, he was in 15th. He was like in, but I mean, in, out right now doesn't matter, but it was surprising where he was. But Sherwin, over under, 1 lap, led by Jimmy. 1.5.
Or 1 and a hook?
1 and a hook. You get the hook.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to go the over.
Okay.
I can't imagine. You'd have to be in the depths of despair with him to bet the under.
Dude, I'm going under, and I love Jimmy.
I like it.
I love Jimmy,
like it.
But Jumpy Bob says that, and I'm like, wow, that's poignant, and he's not an a-hole for saying it. Like, he would be an a-hole if Jimmy had, like, already won 3 times this year. And it's like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. Jimmy's on a roll. But right now, I like that. I like that call, and I'm going to jump on Jumpy Bob's train here. I'm digging it. So
right.
Great.
And I like Brandon's pick. Brandon Crowd says hashtag for the win. I don't think that's a bad pick.
Well, that gets us straight to our picks. And I don't have the pick music because I hadn't even messed with it. Sherwin, what do we?
We don't have anything.
No, I mean I can't find it right this second. So it would just.
Well,
be
let's
weird.
keep talking about Dover.
I'm
then.
sorry. I just brought that up. I wasn't trying to segue into a segment there. I'm not my bad.
Oh no, it's all
you're
good.
fine. We got to get.
Sherwin's
We got to talk
get me
long
to...
enough for Rusty to find the damn sound. I love the sound for the picks.
Well, I mean, fill in some time.
And you guys do a great job with those sound effects too, and the name segments and that sort of thing. I mean, I tell you, I can't remember any of these last time I was on the show. You guys picking it up around here. I like it.
Well, we evolve a lot. That's what's been so much fun about doing this thing is like, you're like, well, that was good. Wasn't this? Maybe this is better. All right, let's try this.
I think it's this one.
There you go. See, he found it. We talked long enough and found it.
Like it.
Thanks everybody for sticking with us.
Hey, that's our pick music. I usually have them lined up, and I forgot to line that one up. So that was like, oh well, whatever. But yeah, that's the pick music, man. Yeah, I mean, it like Sherwin said, it just kind of evolves. We have fun with it, and sometimes things
we had to bring
jump
in the report card.
Out.
It's turned out to be one of the best segments we've ever done.
Yeah. It actually
all credit goes to Rusty.
Kind of makes us talk about things. So that's our picks. So CJ, you're the guest of honor. Give us your pick for Dover.
I'm gonna have to go. I believe with Kevin Harvick. I know he only has 1 win at Dover, and that was a few years ago. That was actually in 2015. But I really think we get to this mile track, we get somewhere that he's seen success other than just winning. I got to go with the 4 car. Plus, maybe I'm a little biased because he was really good to Fox and all of us in working in the media and stuff over the weekend at Talladega, leading that charge in the drivers only broadcast. So maybe that's not the best reason in the world to pick Harvick, but just for that, I'm going to be on the 4 train this weekend. I picked Kevin Harvick.
Sherwin, I picked Bubba last week, and I don't think he did all that great. I don't remember who you picked.
I picked Bubba too for Talladega.
Oh, Blaney. Oh,
he
nice.
finished the race, but
yeah. So go for it. I'm sure ours will be different. So take it over.
All right. So you always you don't want to like be a homer and pick the guy that like everybody's going to pick to win.
Sure.
But sometimes you want to be the homer and pick the guy that everybody wants to win or you want to win. So I'm going with that kid from Dawsonville, Georgia.
There you go.
Chase
All
Elliott.
right, Chase. Digging it. Great pick. And I am going to parallel what CJ has picked. CJ picked a guy who's won 3 races in a row this year, who is a veteran in the sport.
I think I know where you're headed.
And has really got some momentum going into this.
You're fixing to piss some people off.
I'm fixing to pick some people off. Shout out to our MOATF friends over at David. I'm picking Mr. Snickers. Snickers, Skittles, whatever it is, Kyle Busch for the win at Dover. So, with that.
All right.
There, I had to put my comment off the record over on the comment section.
Okay.
So,
oh yeah, you're good.
But that's unofficial. I can make
unofficial.
All right, so let's write this down somewhere.
I love it.
Harvick for our guest. I picked Chase, and you picked Snickers.
There we go. Let's do this. We'll start closing it down here with Stranger Staying. Actually, Jay,
I want to know one thing real quick though before you do that. Is it how it's so weird to me that none of us picked Jimmy Johnson? And I know that might be a stupid statement because we've seen that he's had such a hard time Or look, the man has 11 wins at Dover. I guess maybe when you lose,
I'm the only one who has
vindication. Is he having a bad season or a bad Jimmy Johnson season? What do you guys think?
I'm the only one who has vindication here because I took the under on 1.5 laps led. So at least I'm sticking to what I already said.
Oh, you stuck.
Y'all are the hypocrites.
I think he'll lead laps. I said I didn't think he would win, but I did say I think he'd lead some laps.
Well, so here's the thing, CJ. We have always postured as such that we are not trying to win some kind of fantasy contest with our picks. We're trying to enjoy the race as much as we can. So we're going to root for the guy that we like, and then we're going to pick something that might be fun to talk about next week if they win.
Sure.
And so
it wouldn't. I would love to see Jimmy Johnson win.
Absolutely.
Shut down all these people that say that his season's over, that it's time for him to retire. Lowe's is leaving, so he should leave as well. Now, I'd love to see him ride out of Dover and be like, see, I own this place. I have as many wins now as the entire field. So I'm going to stick with Harvick as my pick, but my sentimental favorite for the weekend is Jimmy Johnson.
Well, the thing is, we're going to have just as much fun talking about Jimmy next weekend if he wins, or next week if he wins.
Exactly.
Either way,
and JoJo agrees with me. She would love to see JJ win.
Yeah, this is all entertainment value. This is the whole point of this. Yeah. We're trying to have fun.
Speaking of entertainment, Strange thing, y'all. What would you rather encounter at the track and have the best chance of survival? A melted chocolate-covered 6-year-old that desperately needs a hug from you for whatever reason and won't stop trying to get one, or a liger, a tiger-lion crossbreed? Jesus, what kind of question is that?
That's why
I'm reading that for the first time.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was funny.
Here's the thing: does the 6-year-old once they get their melted chocolate hug, is it over? Because then I could do that. You know what I mean? Like, all right, just give me the hug. All right, kids, see you later. I'll go take a shower or change clothes or whatever. I'm done with the hug. But if I've got to deal with that all weekend, I might take the lion tiger thing.
Well, so here's all the information.
Because I can kill the lion tiger, or it'll kill me. But I can't start talking about killing a 6-year-old.
Right. So here's all.
Where did this question come from?
Ashley J. Stang. She gives us the. You got to roll with it, dude.
Yeah,
and you gotta analyze deep. You
got to go deep on it.
Can I do one of those like rain out ponchos? Like, do I have any equipment that I can bring for this?
No. You're wearing all white. You're wearing white shirt, white pants.
Is it before or after Labor Day?
Well, it's before.
Sure.
All right. I see. The thing is I have a dog because me and non-upset hug-needing chocolate-covered children, even without those qualifiers, I'm not a huge fan of that situation. I think I'm going to go liger and just hope that because it is a unique animal that it has been around humans its entire life, maybe it's friendly and it's there as part of some sort of circus sideshow. It's got to be there for a reason. I'm going to take my chances with the liger.
Love it. Sherwin.
He stole my answer.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
did we all three?
It is well chronicled that like I'm like only quasi good at like children in the arena. Like some of them I get like attached to and like I really want to be around them. Like our friends' kids. I like being around our friends' kids. But, like, kids in general, I suck at. Like, a random kid covered with chocolate, like, I'm liable to, like, kick him in the chest or something. And then, like go straight to jail.
Right.
So maybe I'd, like, try to, like, put a tree in between me and the liger.
I'm pretty sure.
Like, because a liger is pretty lazy animal.
I think it's going to be friendly. I think it's going to love me.
Three dudes.
I'm fun.
It's like the biggest dog you ever touched.
Or cat, for that matter.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a cat. But, like,
here.
Everybody's seen a big dog. Nobody's like petted a cat.
Y'all can tell who the 3 dudes are that are over 30 and don't have kids. We are terrified of kids to the point that we'll take the tiger, lion, the jungle animal over what is probably a random Tuesday for most parents of 6-year-olds.
Largest violent cats on earth.
3 for 3. I love it.
There are parents listening to this like, that was Tuesday. Yeah,
so saying, yeah. Oh, with that, man, it's time to start shutting her down. I mean, shout outs to our friends over at Lab Traffic and MOATF Podcast. Orange Cone threw us right under the bus.
Loose Lugs, they were like promoting our stuff too.
Oh,
Good
yeah,
for
Loose
them.
Lugs.
Orange
What's
Cone,
up, fellas?
We took a total L at the end of the Lab Traffic Podcast.
I love it.
That
I love
dude
it.
is obsessed with like standoffy type things.
No, it's cool. We retake the crown for worst podcast on the internet again.
Yeah.
Because he does that for whoever's he wasn't on the last.
Clearly.
So digging it. CJ, close us out. Anything you want to bring up and tell the folks where they can find you.
Well, of course, the first thing I got to do is I got to toe the company line, but there's nothing that makes me happier than doing that. We've got Dover for you all weekend. Tomorrow, everything's on FS1, and we have a kind of a dinner truck series race tomorrow. Truck series racing is at 5 o'clock tomorrow on FS1 from the Monster Mile. Everything starts at 9:30 with Xfinity Series practice. We got Cup qualifying tomorrow, and then the Cup race on Sunday is on FS1. From the Monster Mile, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, make sure you're watching. You can find me on Twitter at CJ Wolliver, and it's a lot of NASCAR and NASCAR on Fox content, but, I have some fun on there as well. Hey, so what do you guys think? Is it IMHOIN? Yeah. Is that in my honest opinion or in my humble opinion? Which one do you guys think?
In my humble opinion.
Humble.
Yeah.
No, it's honest.
No, dude, that's been around longer.
I've always seen it as honest.
Dude, I'm a nerd. Like, I do computers and stuff. That's been around a long time. That's humble.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed out on that memo, but I have always read that and used that as honest.
Take that with a grain of salt, because GIF to me is a GIF. And that
no, sir.
messes a lot of people up. The dude who invented it calls it a GIF. If you invent it, you get to name it.
GIF.
That's my point.
GIF.
That's my point.
GIF.
Anyway.
I think, if you do invent it, you get to name it. I'm not sure I'd heard that argument, but
okay.
I've always said GIF. But if the guy that created it calls it a GIF, yeah, we got to go with that, I think.
See, I'm at least logical, if nothing else.
So you got a couple online girlfriends now. Good for you.
Yeah, no, JoJo is all about me. So, thank you.
I'm digging it. Sherwin, let's start shutting this thing down.
How do we even shut it down?
I know. There's no telling anymore. Y'all know where to find us. It's PETMpodcast.com, at PETM Podcast on the Twitter, and in all the social spaces. Y'all can find me, Tailgate Mayor, at Tailgate Mayor.
You can find me at Pregame Engineer on the Twitter, at Andrew L. Sherwin on the Instagram. And like Rusty said, just Google PETM Racing Podcast. We're in every place that you could possibly want to either listen or watch or read.
As usual, we got sideways. We put it in the ditch. We'll be back with y'all. We'll be back on the road next week to just fire it right back in the ditch.
Yeah,
like we always
Sling
do.
it right back. We don't worry about we really just worry about the guardrail, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not the ditch, it's the guardrail that's the concern.
We thank CJ for being on, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Woo! Really like this song.
We are NASCAR.
See what she put on.
Cool. That's not. Like that. All right. Sweet. CJ.
Yes,
we are
sir.
still live on the YouTube.
Hey guys.
Oh yeah.
But
YouTube's been fun. I don't know, I'm just going to come on even if I'm not on the show and just talk to my new friends in the comment section, because this has been fun.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah. The comments
they
are half the show.
They also think I'm pretty, which makes me happy because I do try, kind of. Like, I put some effort into it. So
well, he
it's
did.
good to
He
know
said
that
he,
my efforts
shaved
do not
and
go
did his hair.
unnoticed.
He said he shaved and did his hair for the show, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that makes one of us ever.
True story.
So,
Really.
just saying. My mama raised me right. I was trying to get the dog to make one more appearance, but he didn't want to. And did you hear him bark? Like, you guys jinxed it. He went crazy at one point.
I heard the one. Sherwin, you're gonna have to be entertaining because I got to do I was gonna say redneck stuff. It's actually nerd stuff that I got to do. So on you.
Oh yeah, I could talk. Yeah. So
he says I can talk, and then has a 3-second pause.
Well, the comment section seems to have enjoyed it. Everyone's saying, like, no one agreed with me that IMHO is, in my honest opinion, even though that's how I've always seen it. But Jumpy Bob, that song is burned into my hard drive. That I'm not sure that's the way you do it anymore. I think that's sort of a CD type thing. But it is a great song. I love Sid. That is such a good song. I love that.
Yeah, well, we very much appreciated her letting us use that song. It's been a big part of what we've been doing for, over a year now. Obviously, we've been using that. And
I was actually able to meet her in Charlotte at Charlotte Motor Speedway last year, and it was think right after my second podcast appearance. So it was nice to run into her.
I remember the selfie that you sent us. Yeah,
that's right.
There was another person in that deal that's not in there anymore, but it's fine. Yeah. However they do it's how they do it. We'd love to meet Sydney in person just to say, thank you so much. Like, she's been so generous. Like, giving somebody your music is a big deal. Like, we're small time as hell, obviously, but like giving somebody the rights to your original music we understand what that is because we both love music a lot.
And now we produce content too, and
you start to understand a little bit more about what it means to give someone rights to your stuff.
Because we've had people that want to use it, and we're like, no, we're not going to do that. Not in the way that like we're stingy with it, but ours was more like we don't want to have that responsibility with people because now they're going to want it once a week, and what if we don't want to do it once a week? I don't know.
Yeah, so that's why so one of the weird things about this whole deal, CJ, is that. And it hadn't happened in a while, and I think we're probably glad for that. But people had approached us, even though we really are a small show. They we're thinking about doing syndication. We have this program, and we want to do this or that or the other with your show. And it's like, well, how much control do we have over the content?
Right.
And it's like if that means so all of a sudden we have to start editing because we can't play Sydney's stuff because we would never give Sydney's stuff to anybody else without her permission, and now we have to worry about all that. It's man, we would just much rather do the Patreon thing. Yeah, and if it's slow
and as
starter,
I told you guys too in Talladega, and we were talking, and you continue to say stuff like, "Well, we're just small time. Don't sell yourself short. Look at all these comments over here. This is the same amount of traffic as I have seen on other content on much larger platforms." With people on there that, have much higher name recognition than any of us. So don't sell yourself short. And you seem to have some pretty dedicated fans over here that I'm a fan of as well.
I think the best way to put it,
onto something cool.
It's a hobby for us, and we don't want it to not be a hobby. That's the main thing. So, with that, y'all on the YouTube Live, thank you for joining in. We're gonna jump off of that thing. Sherwin, say bye-bye to the YouTubers. YouTubers, snap a picture. This is all you're going to see is CJ right here. He's got that. Maybe he'll have to model some new shirts for us.
He's pretty as hell.
You make it sound like I'm going to CJ, we're going to have to put him to rest.
That's right.
Sonia jumped in.
Well, he sure has pretty teeth.
Yeah, Miss wonderful singing voice Sonia Bolin jumped in there. So, all right, y'all, we really appreciate y'all sticking around for an hour and a half or whatever it was y'all stuck around for. It's been a while. Audio version of this podcast is going to be posted in the next 15 minutes, and the YouTube lives forever. And we want to thank CJ Wolliver for joining us, especially want to thank him for joining us hanging out at Talladega because that's way more important and fun than this. And,
whoa, Sonia says I favor Elvis. Is that me?
Well, favors Elvis. Booyah.
That's what I was going for. I like it. Thank you. Sorry.
And Sonia's the one with the golden voice. So we got the golden voice and the golden face. It's all good. Match made in heaven. We're out of here.
Yeah, we'll see y'all at the next Talladega race. Woo! See ya.